Well, girls, this week, a little bit of a win for us ladies with the boobies. Rupert Murdoch has decided that we no longer have to show our tits on page 3 of his tabloid. You know, the tabloid tyrant has said, put them away, girls, no one's interested. You know, for 40 years, I think it was the 1970s when the Sun, you know, that sort of failing paper he bought in London, you know, sort of, he actually reinvigorated sales by going up against, you know, sort of the feminist kind of movement and going, no, the working man, he needs a little bit of buzzy. You know, page 3, you know, a little bit of news, straight to page 3. That's like, and who doesn't like a little bit of titty with your news? I just imagine like the average bricklayer sort of getting a little bit of a boner, you know, as you do, because it's sort of inappropriate, I think, to send, you know, a tradie or the working man out into the workplace at about 6 a.m. with a raging erection after looking at giant big boobies, you know, before he lays bricks. I suppose assuming at the time that, you know, probably laying bricks was the only laying that was going on, so he needed a little bit of page 3 action. So it was always kind of, I don't know, a bit demeaning, and you always, as a feminist, come off sounding like a prude, like you don't like it's the nudity and the sexuality that you're offended by. And I think that's always an argument that's kind of used, and it's not that at all. I couldn't give a shit about that. It's just that it just feels a bit horrible as a girl. You know, imagine growing up with this constant representation, train crash, economic recession, titties. You know, it doesn't make you feel like you're going to grow up to be a lawyer or a magistrate or some sort of geophysicist. You feel like you're going to grow up to be some sort of stupid slut. Bring me your dinner and fucking give me a feel of those big, nice, bouncy tartars. It just kind of diminishes you as a human being. Now, there's this little test you do, which I learnt when I was at uni a long time ago, which is to see if something has some sort of gender bias or it's discriminatory. You just reverse it, and it's quite easy. So it's like imagining if you were a young man growing up in a culture where for the last 40, 45 years, that on the page 3 of your national newspaper was a young man in his beauty, you know, a beautiful, conventionally attractive young man with his lovely ball bag out, with his big, smooth, shiny penis, bending over, going, and here's Kevin, he likes to have a ball on the weekends, you know, Kevin 18, and tomorrow we've got Charlie from Brixton, he's a skinhead, look, he's got the Union Jack on the end of his knob. You know, I don't think that kind of messaging for 40 years would make you feel very empowered. You know, as a woman, it doesn't really. Like, when you see that, you feel a bit like, oh, God, that's awful. Like, why do you have to do it? And you know, now, Rupert, you know, Mr. Murdoch, or Murdick, whatever his name is, Murcock, the whole demographic of the working population's changed. It's no longer the working man. We have a lot of working women out there, so why not, you know, use your page 3? Because now they actually still have page 3 girls, of course, because, you know, it's not like sexism has been eliminated. They just put tiny tops on because, you know, people aren't over exploiting and objectifying women. No, just, you know, just hiding a little bit. So it doesn't really feel like much of a step forward, but it sort of brings it back onto the agenda. So why still a girl? I mean, why not a girl every now and then? I mean, maybe, you know, because it represents, it's just heterosexual men they're appealing to, and there's a lot more than that. There's people of all sorts of sexual persuasions. If you're looking towards appealing to people that need a little bit of sexual stimulation, you know, with their morning news, I mean, you could have maybe, you know, scrotums, maybe just the ball bag, maybe bosoms one day, and why just big, bouncy, round boobs? Why not different shapes? You know, sometimes the longies. Sometimes you might do little shorties, sometimes you might do the inverted nipple, one in, one out, you know, sort of mix it up a bit, you know, maybe an uptight scrotum, not just a young scrotum, maybe Neville, 73, with one kind of giant hairy ball hanging out his shorts and going, look, Neville still likes to get out on the weekend. But it's everywhere. I know it seems stupid, just driving in Byron the other day, get behind this car, this van, I don't know what it was actually promoting, I imagine it was a sex shop, but there's this giant, like, moulded pink tits on the back of a van, and it's just corny as. And I thought, is that like an instant mammogram? Is it like a mammogram thing, or is it like a lactation specialist? But I think it was a sex shop, and it makes you feel kind of horrible to see bits of your body cut off and put on a van. Like, it sort of like feels a bit creepy, you know, to actually have your body represented like that as bits that you can just slice off. Like, this is your sexual bits, there's your titties, there they are on the back of that van. Fuck you, who cares if you get offended? It's kind of doesn't make you feel like, you know, oh, my streets are safe to walk in, or I feel really appreciated or good on being a girl. It feels a bit creepy to me. And I sort of say, whoever drives that van, I've got a challenge to you. I'm quite okay for you to keep the tits on the proviso you put a giant, erect, hot pink cock on the roof. And then I'm quite fine with it, because then both genders have been equally represented, equally reduced and equally exploited. That's quite fine. Be very surprised if that happens though, because you know what? It takes balls to put a big cock on a van. Doesn't take balls to put tits on though. See you next week.